All right, here we are, December 23rd, and we are live. Well, everybody, first of all, thank you, everybody who was able to jump on here tonight on the panel. We're going to have a great discussion tonight. I am going to try to play a movie or two, and, we're going to start off with one because sometimes one will take us a long ways. And I know discussions usually run a while, so we'll play it by ear, and hopefully everything works out. And since we have a little bit larger panel than normal, we're going to give everybody an opportunity to speak on what we share and what we discuss tonight. So, um, first of all, I want to go over a couple things right now and give a reminder. First of all, um, heads up, right around the corner. Well, first of all, we got Christmas coming up here because this is Christmas Eve, and so here we are. I guess you could say it's kind of like a little Christmas special tonight, but get together, have some fun here. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, right in Waynesboro, Virginia, at the Waynesboro Public Library, January 12th. From 1 to 4, we're having a local Winterfest Bigfoot seminar. So come on out. That is a free event. So come on out to that. And also coming up this year, we have a camping expedition. Give me 1 second here. There we go. April 27th and 28th, we have a weekend Bigfoot camping expedition here in Virginia. Be taking place in the George Washington National Forest, and we have the Paratalk radio team that is bringing down a fairly large crew from New York. They asked me to lead that investigation, so that's going to happen again April 27th and 28th. So that's going to be exciting. Anybody's welcome to attend or participate in that. So I want to give everybody a heads up about that. Again, that is April 27th and 28th, right here in Virginia. If you want any information or you want to contact me regarding that, you can email me at ecbro98@gmail.com. And ladies and gentlemen, our second annual ECBRO Virginia Bigfoot Conference is taking place June 29th and June 30th. As of right now, tickets have been on sale. However, you can get your early bird tickets, but early bird tickets end January 1st. Ticket prices do go up January 1st. So you go to virginiabigfootcon.com and act on that right now and save yourself a few dollars. Highly recommend that. There is a very limited space on vendors. We're running out of vendor space. So if you are looking forward to being or wanting to be a vendor, I suggest you act now. You can reach me again at ecbro98@gmail.com for details. And one more event coming up, ladies and gentlemen. Mark this on your calendar. July 27th, the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters is introducing their their first annual their Southern Illinois Monster Hunters Bigfoot Conference. For any information, you can reach out to Mr. Zach Starrick, also known as Blimp, the founder and the host of that event. So, Zach, is there any other little minor details that I might be leaving out regarding that?
Well, let's see. It's free to the public, and it's a Marion Carnegie Library in Marion, Illinois, my hometown. And it's if you're going to get in there, it's right off the square. You'll find the clock tower, and it's right there on Market Street. You can come off of New 13 from the interstate and head east like you're going out of town. You'll come to a street called Market Street. You go up there where the clock tower is and go all the way around to the other side of the square, and it's right down the hill past the Civic Center. Daniel Benoit, Greg Yost, myself, and Glenn Mink will be speaking at this event. I'm trying to get Michael Cook and Gwendolyn Guthrie from Uncharted Paracryptid Studies to come up and show their paranormal roadshow they got. I'm trying to get Jeff Byers to come. Ed Brown's talking about coming. So come on out. It's going to be fun. Let's pack the house out and let's get watching.
That sounds awesome. And hey, look who was able to join us tonight. North Carolina Squatch Watchers. Hey, how you gentlemen doing tonight? Taylor,
What's
and we got
up?
Taylor and Tate, right?
Yeah, yeah. How's it going? What's up?
Awesome. I knew Taylor was there. I wasn't sure who the other one was till because
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking down at my little thumbnail panel box right there. So very awesome. I'm glad you guys were able to come on and join us tonight. I think we're gonna have some fun. Um, Looking at the panel from left to right on my end, we have Mike Singleton of Blue Ridge Bigfoot, Fred Canny, Lael Pelt. Um, Excuse me if I get tongue tied or brain farts. Nikki Cologne, Zach Sterick, of course, the Squatch Watchers, and then moi. So we may have, like I said, we may have a couple more joining us. Not sure if they'll make it on tonight or not, but that's okay. Um, Meanwhile, I'm gonna. I know. I want. I always try to start off before we get into our actual thing. I always try to give everybody opportunity to share a little bit. Usually, if there's any news they want to share with us, Bigfoot related or not. I know Fred was out today. I believe you were. I thought I saw a video footage of you out today. Um, Fred, was there anything that you wanted to share?
No, not really, because all I did was sit around the house all day.
Oh, okay. I must have been. I must have saw. It must have been from yesterday. I saw a video of you.
No, I was last night at my family get together.
Oh, okay. Okay. No problem.
Bonus time of the year.
All right. The Squatch Watchers, Taylor and Tate. Have you been out lately?
Let's see. What? We were going to go this weekend actually, and it rained us out. Yeah, so rained us out. We didn't get. I went like let's see, a week ago with Toby to get all of our stuff signed up for the competition and everything. We went out there and it was pretty dead. Like they're making new trails on that property and everything for us to walk and all that. So yeah, I think it's a little dead out there right now. Yeah, and actually, the last video we posted, the trail cam with like the alien or paranormal entity that's on Taylor's shoulder. We made really it's just a filler episode. We was actually going to do more with that. We was going to have Taylor and Toby go back out there. We was going to try to recreate the shot and everything, but the rain rained us out. We decided, it's been like a week or two since our last video, so we will keep everybody waiting and guessing. So we decided to just go ahead and put it up. Yeah. Yeah. So.
All right. Now I know on the one video, trail cam video, or excuse me, photo that you guys had posted. I know it's being in a lot of. I don't even know what the right word to use. Attention. It's been getting a lot of attention, and people are still speculating on that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm sure it's very nerve wracking. It's frustrating on that, but I don't know. For the record, just anyone that might be still talking about it, is there anything you guys want to share on that, or maybe clear up?
Us or anyone else? I think it's everybody. I mean, there's a lot of people saying porcupine, but I don't know. A lot of people saying porcupine, but I mean, the way I judge it, I don't think a porcupine would cast that big of a shadow on those trees behind it. But I'm not an expert on that. That's why we put it out there to try to get people's any information's great information. Well, personally, it don't hurt my feelings either way. No, it don't hurt your feelings. I believe it's something of the Sasquatch family. That's just my personal opinion.
Right.
And, everybody's got to write their own opinion. Oh, yeah. They got to write their own research. I mean, I don't bash anybody for saying it's a porcupine or a bear or a person in a suit. They can say whatever they want. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we know where the picture came from. We know that there was really no way they could tamper with it. And judging by the picture, we all collectively agreed that we believe it is either a juvenile Sasquatch or a dwarf Sasquatch. Yeah.
Right. While we're on that real quick, anybody on the panel? Yeah, I was gonna give everybody an opportunity to, if they wanted to, just to get it out of the way. If you guys had anything you wanted to throw up, for those who are familiar with the Squatch Watchers photo, the trail cam photo that they're that we're discussing right now, if you guys have anything to share or that you want to get off your chest, throw it out there. Go ahead.
What photo are you referring to? The black one that's that was posted a little while ago there, Daniel?
No. We'll get into that tonight. No, this one here has been out for a few months, a few weeks now.
Maybe 2-3 weeks tops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you post a picture of the that you're referring to?
Yeah, give me a second. I'll actually send it to you directly because I don't have. Well, I don't know if I have it right now. Yeah, if you give me a while, I'll have to look it up right now. I don't have it within my.
Yeah, I can't comment on a photo. I won't comment on a photo that I'm not familiar with. So
Yeah, It's something you've probably seen. I'm sure you've probably seen it. It's
Oh, I'm sure I've seen it too. But as I said, I won't comment without knowing specifically which video or which picture it is. In all fairness.
Oh yeah. Give me one second. I just found it. I'll have to.
I have something to say. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Leo.
I have seen the photo numerous times because I'm in different groups and whatever, and it could every day you scroll past it twice or whatever, and the back as well as black and white. It's a trail cam picture, but and the back does have a porcupine looking kind of schnizzle to the fur or whatever, or porcupine pines or whatever. But there's something, and I can't say whether it's a Bigfoot or a porcupine, but there's something about the build of it from the front, because you're looking at it sideways, and there's something about the build of it from the front and the side that makes me think maybe it's not a porcupine.
Right.
I mean, that's just my like I said, and the boys said a while ago, they know where the film come from and this. And I've always said, if you weren't there and you didn't see it, how can you say? So they know where the picture come from, and I don't know.
Right.
I'm unsure about the results, but I think it could be. I don't,
What if I could ask Taylor and the other gentleman there? What are you able to not reveal, but are you at liberty to give a little bit of background on where the photo was taken, what was used to take the photo, anything like that? Like, do you know the provenance at all?
Let's see. I think I may have the picture right here, so I can tell you what kind of trail camera it is. That he used. The guy was like, he's not he's old school. He's like an old school hunter. His family basically had to force him to, like, his son went and printed all of his pictures out, and they basically forced him to come to us with it. But he didn't. His buddy, what was his buddy's name? Delmore or something. I can't remember their names. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get this out. Here, I got that.
Yeah,
but the guy, his name is Joe Hunt. We told him, he told us we could go forward with it all we wanted, and we actually posted it like a year ago. It was what is that? A WHMR old school camera. He claims it was 3 foot, like waist high. To him was like 3.5 foot, I guess, off the ground. And then he said that the game land. He says in the video it's not a game land anymore where he can go actually hunt on it anymore. It's the government bought it out. Yeah, like it's like it's more of what is that word I'm looking for? It's in South Mountain State Park area. We don't want the outskirts of it, and we try to give the location, but every time we start talking locations in North Carolina, people seem to get their panties in a wad. To us, land is land. We'd rather people come get to the bottom of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? We don't like to keep ours secret. I mean, so we're going to do that just for respect of other people, but it is in the South Mountain State Park area. funny thing that Daniel, you know that story about people commenting to you saying we ruined.
Oh yeah.
That lovely gentleman. Yeah. So I mean, it's just South Mountain area. The town is near Kaiser, North Carolina, and there's actually a guy called Tim Peeler who made national news of people making fun of him because he had a get from here stick. Like Jay Leno made fun of him. We actually believed the guy saw a Sasquatch. He called in, and this is within a couple miles from his house, just years after taking on that trail cam picture. So y'all can look him up. His name's Tim Peeler. He was actually, that's the location near where we were. That's Nobby. His name's Nobby in North Carolina. That's really all the information we got because Joe was sort of thought people were going to poke fun of him. And he trusted the Rex Sound Theater crew, like that's the our little crew that we're on with Rex, to come and look at it. And we promised him like nobody was going to poke fun of him, so that's why we put it out there for all of y'all again. Well, two things to get in the background of what you were just talking about, Taylor. Funny thing, that episode is actually a rerun from our local TV station, TV Time from 2015. So and people around here got 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, and when we first took the YouTube and Instagram before we got kind of to where we are right now at this point with our following, we posted a picture a while back on there with a watermark, and it got no attention then. No. But now that we've grown to what we are and filled out our britches right now, it's like now we're getting more attention off of it, and this picture's been out there for years now that we've had, and everybody's been asking why you just released it now on our YouTube. I'm like, well, we have released it, but no one's been paying attention. I think that's why people.
If I could ask, what have you been to the actual location where this picture is taken? Like, are you able to do a size comparison?
Funny thing about we've not been to the exact location, no. But funny thing about it, the same night we were out there with this guy's name within probably I'd say a couple miles from where that location. The same night, this guy's name is Bob, and the other guy's name is Dwight, and we picked up something on a FLIR with them, but they got mad too, I think, because we actually put the that interview on our TV station, so now we can't get the footage. But we caught something on a FLIR using their equipment that night. It was the exact same night. That's what's weird about it, and that's what we were wanting to go in more depth about, but we have no way of getting it. But if y'all could reach out to those guys, maybe they could send y'all some stuff. If y'all want to PM us their names, we'll send them to y'all. Either one of y'all. They won't give them to us because they said we ruined the area because we released the location. You want him tonight? Yeah. Yeah, but also to back up the background of the situation, the picture was off a trail cam, an old school trail cam. The guys went and had it printed out at Walmart, if that tells you anything. And then we had the hard copy that we took pictures of and distributed that way. Yeah. So, the editing part of the picture, I mean, unless they done something on their own, which there's no way, I don't see how they could. The picture is what it is. Yeah. Now we don't like people said. But we wanted to get the before picture and the after picture. It had already been gone. That's the only thing that had me iffy. There's no before picture. There's no after picture. You just have the one picture. But the guy, he was like the old school type of guy. He's going to delete everything off his camera and just keep what would be the animal because he didn't think that it was going to, I guess, get this much publicity now. I know the biggest question, this is why people lean towards porcupine, is the size of it. But the problem is we can't really scale it because the trees in the background, they look short and skinny, but then they look kind of tall. And also, if you look at the scale of the land, the direction it's moving in is going at a slanted uphill pace. I don't understand if it was kind of moving uphill, jumping, or what. But the blur, we can't distinguish all that really.
Yeah, well, the other thing I was thinking about, and I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I know some had actually even mentioned bear. Now, what rules it out as not being bear to me is, one, we know the general information of the height of the camera, 3 to 4 feet. All right, here's a figure we estimate that could only maybe it's a short subject, but if it was a bear, we know it's very, very rare for a bear to be walking on 2 feet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is this. To me, I'm looking at it. Just in my opinion, we're looking at something short and very fat and round.
It doesn't have a bear face. It doesn't have a snout. No.
Well, if it did, that's the part that I know we can, because apparently the subject is walking away from the camera, so we only see the back side of it anyway. So that's what would be kind of, you know what I mean?
I know, but even from the angle that it is, the head isn't shaped like a bear. I don't think. Now,
in my looking at the photo, it looks like it's the angle of the photo is being taken from behind on the left side of whatever the object is. And
Right.
what people are saying is porcupine is actually the blurred movement of the object moving forward in the photo. So,
Right.
and
I
what really gets me is the length of the arms is past the waist, and I don't know if you look above where the left foot is kind of angled up a bit. If you look directly above that, you can almost make out. I don't know if it's just the pixelation of the photo, but to me it almost looks like two buttocks. You can actually see the outline of a ass crack and two cheeks.
David, David pointed that out to us. Yeah.
And you can almost note that the shoulders are broad. The head looks like it's kind of looking not down, but looking down and forward. Kind of looks like it's arched its back a bit and it's leaning over. But the other thing that gets me is if you look at the left hand, it almost looks like it's carrying, I don't know, that looks like the butt end of a rifle, or do you know what I mean? That's what I would. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I don't think it's a Bigfoot. I'm not saying that I think it's anything. To me, it's inconclusive. To definitely say yes, this is a Bigfoot without a doubt, I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Oh yeah.
But for me, it leaves a big question mark. And I mean, you know, I from what I can see fur. I can see arm length. I can see fur on the legs. You know, whether it could be somebody in a suit. It's hard to say. But to me, it's inconclusive. That's just my opinion.
I think I got it. I think I got it debunked. I think it's King Cooper from the Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one better for you. I bet it's Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I like that. I like that reference. Yeah.
It's too tall to be Crash Bandicoot. And,
Yeah.
The fur is not blue; it's black.
Oh yeah.
It might be that big tiger he fights, Tiny or whatever.
Yeah.
It might be that one. But
well, wait a minute, Kevin, you're thinking about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. He's.
Oh, okay. I was close.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's one video I was gonna pull up, and the thing is, after learning more about this individual, I was almost not gonna even bother with this one. Is anyone here not familiar with Mark Anders?
I've heard the name, but not really that familiar.
Okay, 'cause I know.
Are you talking about the dog trainer guy?
No, not him.
The Bigfoot penis guy.
Oh yeah,
That's
we mentioned him the other night. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're all right.
Sure, before we went any further.
Well, somebody actually did go further, and they were commenting that he was actually pumping it while it was on camera and making it splooge. So those are not my words; they're somebody else's. So Daniel, what's the name of that individual you just mentioned?
I'm sorry. Please repeat the name of the.
Oh, Mark Anders. I'm about to show a video that's been floating around. The only reason I was going to share this around because between the last couple of days, I've been seeing this floating around in a couple different groups. I mean, I've been catching it in my news feed. So, I am going to play. Let me pull it up first as a screen share here. Actually, wait a minute. Let me back out for just a second. Give me a second. Let me make sure I'm going to share the right one here. No, that ain't the one I wanted to share.
Are you talking about the Bigfoot walking video?
Well, this one here, yeah, it's kind of a walking one. Yeah,
He
it's
has
the
a
big.
lot of those.
Yeah, it's the Bigfoot video. Supposedly, this alleged Bigfoot was taken in Massachusetts, and I
No,
think once
the one I'm looking
once I
at
share
is
this,
the one I'm
hold
looking
on.
at is the Bigfoot walking Texas Sasquatch video.
Oh no, not yeah, okay. All right. Give me a second. I'm waiting for it to. There we go. All right, now I can pull this up on a screen share, and if it has audio, I'm not going to play the audio. Um, we'll all be able to see this once I open it up to full screen. Some of you might recognize it. So,
Hey, it's my ex-wife.
What in the world? I know, that's crazy.
They're taking a piss.
all right.
No, that's a wig on his butt.
Now this is Mark Anders. This is
Okay.
one of his many Bigfoot videos.
Danger and
So,
Adventure Channel.
Well, I can tell you, I've just watched 2 of the videos, and
Yeah.
one is supposedly filmed up close
Look at the view.
in Massachusetts, and another one in Texas.
yeah.
And
Okay.
my opinion is that they're both fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I don't want to be the first to
to
say it, but
You can almost see like the back goes
the
across.
arms are too short to me.
But it looks almost too like where the back and the butt meet right there at the like top of I guess what would be the human crack. It looks like it's 2 pieces.
Well, I'm looking at the geographic area of the videos. I mean, I think it would be astronomically the odds of somebody, the same person, being able to film a Sasquatch in Texas that close, and another person or the same person being in Massachusetts filming another Bigfoot that close. Too good to be true, and I think the odds are they're astronomical as far as that happening. So
It is true. I like to know his secrets.
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep running in there.
So now can I talk about it? Now can I talk
Yeah.
about it?
Go ahead.
It's totally fake. The guy Mark Anders is a videographer who specializes in computer generated images. He has this is a it's just a statue. What do you call it? It's just a fake. And then he is able to take that and manipulate it. And he had, back when this was the big deal and everybody was trying to figure him out, he had a website up where he actually specialized in all types of zoological animals. I mean, he did animations with cheetahs and gorillas and everything and made them look real. And I was looking for the website, but I couldn't find it. So I don't know if it's
Daniel,
still
I
up or
called it.
not.
Well, the other thing is too,
And-
Mom. Did you get a chance to watch the breakdown video of this too?
Yeah, I sort of watched it, but I had already seen all this before, so I didn't
Yeah.
go back and watch it again. But I think he actually had one saying it was just all for advertising for his business.
Okay.
But I couldn't find that either. So, but because it's been a while, it's been several years
Huh.
since all that came out.
Well, I watched another. The breakdown video I watched following this was by I forget the gentleman's name, but his YouTube channel is called hold on, Try Diver. Let me back up a little bit here. I don't know if it's under here.
Daniel,
Yeah, go ahead.
When we're done with this particular person, I was wondering if we could talk about Todd Standing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can get into that here in a little bit.
There's even one Mark Anders did where he has the Bigfoot jumping from a train to another train.
Oh wow!
And-
Really?
But but it's not real good. I mean, because you can, at the very end, you can see where he makes a mistake and he makes it land in midair instead of on the train. And so he still has his channel. His channel is still up on YouTube. So you can go and look at it.
And this is who now?
Mark Anders.
Oh, his other YouTube channel?
Yeah, his YouTube channel is filled. It's just filled with his stuff.
Okay, because I'm trying to find. There's another name I want to direct, let everybody kind of get everybody's attention to, and I'm trying to remember the guy's name. And I'll tell you in just a second. This guy here does a lot of breakdowns. He's not breakdown. He's not sort of, but
Skydiver.
Yeah, that's it. I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try Diver. TRIDIVER. Try Diver. Two different words. He does. I don't know. I haven't looked at all his videos, but he does actually some breakdowns. And now one video I watched of his, he even supports and backs up one of MK Davis's enhanced videos with permission from MK Davis, was defense jumper, where he actually supports that and believes that. Or thing is, he lost me when he was talking all that mathematical equations and measurements. I was like, no, that's too much junk for me. I said, okay, why don't you just like break it down a little bit more lame terms? But yeah, this guy tried Diver. Seems like a pretty cool dude. It's just his breakdown version was a little too long winded for me. So, but yeah, if you guys want to check that out, I just wanted to share that. Again, his name is Try Diver. That's his YouTube name. But he does a Bigfoot video breakdown of the Bigfoot in Massachusetts. So, of the one we just got done watching. So, there was something else I wanted to, I think, make sure I didn't pass anything up. Well, we'll get into a couple more here afterwards. But I wanted Kevin was bringing up Todd Standing. Kevin, was there anything in particular that you wanted to discuss about Todd Standing?
Well, for those of you, how many people are familiar? How many people on our panel are familiar with Todd Standing and its Bigfoot?
Yeah, everybody.
We all are. We're very well. Yeah, we know him very well.
Okay. What I wanted to bring up was there's a bit of a background to this. I'm not going to name who it was that I spoke with, but a very prompt. You're all going to have to figure this out on your own, because the person is deceased. The Bigfoot researcher is deceased, and I don't want to speak for him, or I don't want to attribute what he said.
Yeah,
I can't confirm or deny that.
But we can.
Yeah. Well, basically, in speaking with this person, I asked his opinion on the Todd Standing, the videos, and everything that's been going on with his documentaries. And this was a couple of years ago, and I came across actually a website and a posting where a professional, Daniel Falconer and Phil Poling, did an analysis of the videos and the pictures, and it's quite involved. And when I mentioned this to this researcher, I asked him to have a look at it. I forwarded him the links, and he looked into it even more so than they did. And his conclusion was that he had been had. So he was quite upset about it, but didn't go so far as to call out Todd Standing on, the hoax or the ruse that he's pulled. But if you bear with me here, I can read you some excerpts, and I will post the link if you want when we're done. But if you bear with me just a sec here, I can tell you Daniel Falconer, just to give you a bit of a background on Daniel. His background, he is a special effects. Here we are. Daniel Falconer is a designer and writer for New Zealand-based special effects house Weta workshop, where he has worked for 17 years. As a senior member of the workshop, his design team has designed creatures, costumes, armor, props, and weapons for film properties including The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Avatar, District 9, Chronicles of Narnia, King Kong, Hercules, and Xena television shows. Daniel is also a published author with 10 books in his name, examining the design and special effects work Weta has provided for a number of these projects. So giving you that background, I'm just going to read some excerpts from his evaluation if you guys are interested. This is what he has to say. This is what he has to say about Todd Standing. He says, while evaluating Todd Standing's motives and stories is an inherently subjective exercise, the video and still imagery that he has provided can be objectively studied by anyone with relevant expertise. The majority of his video or still photography, usually put forth as potential Bigfoot evidence, is too hazy or lacking in detail to permit any firm conclusions to be drawn, but not so this material. Standing's unambiguous videos can be carefully scrutinized and objectively evaluated without having to consider misidentification as a possibility or argue differing interpretations of vague constellations of pixels. He says, while I make no claims to be an industry expert and would welcome the insights of others more qualified to make determinations, my own familiarity with the special makeup effects based on nearly 2 decades working in this field grants me a measure of confidence in my ability to recognize what I am seeing in Standing's material. So I feel comfortable saying this much at least. And then he says, in my professional opinion, the Standing Sylvanic videos and associated stills depict contrived props shot in a staged manner. They do not show living, breathing examples of a hitherto unknown species recorded spontaneously. The videos and associated... Pardon?
Meaning, run your whole computer off the thumb drive. This is the Anderson County Bigfoot. And I mean, this area is...
Who's giving that? You got no feedback from somebody.
Yeah, somebody. So he says that, where is it? The videos and associated stills are transparent fabrications lacking any dynamic or surprising features. He says, I will not speculate on Standing's motivations, that being a subjective endeavor, but I will go so far as to say that what he claims regarding the authenticity of these videos contradicts what I observe in them and everything that my professional experience leads me to conclude. And he finishes by saying, if Mr. Todd Standing is to be taken at his words, that he is dedicated to the task of proving and gaining protection for Sasquatch as a species, then I would expect him to immediately turn over his considerable body of video and still image evidence to an independent export source for proper analysis. So far, this material appears to have been withheld, and only low resolution edited versions drip fed out to the media for a fee, always with the promise of more and better to come, and a growing list of celebrity endorsements by association thanks to his podcast and television appearances. With that in mind, I struggle to reconcile Standing's stated goals with his actions. I have no faith in the evidence that he has thus far produced. So,
hey, can I say something, Kevin?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, I've looked at that. I've seen the movie he's got, right? Now, what people don't realize is the all famous photo or all famous video where he's got that Squatch underneath the log looking at him. You can see it's a fake because you can see the head of the mask and you can see the white. See, Squatches do not have white in their eyes at all. If you're looking in a cave and there's one sitting there, what you're doing is you're seeing the fluorescent glow of the retina. But if you take and get to that scene and you stop it and you zoom it in on, let's see, he's looking at you, it'd be this side, let's see, be the side right here. The way he's looking, you can see it's a screen over top his eye, and you can see the white in the eyes from both on the outside of the retina. You can see white. That's what I see when Todd showed that, because I stopped and I looked at it quite a few times, and I zoomed it in, and you can see white around his eyeball. Because Squatches do not have white in their eyes.
Well, the two pictures that I have seen were one where there's a close up of a face, and the other one almost looks to be a mask where there's no fur on the face, but it's got a velvety texture.
Yeah,
It almost looks.
Well, you know that Todd Standing's wife is a professional makeup artist in Hollywood, don't you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that being said, I don't put any value in anything Todd Standing has produced or purported to be Bigfoot. I put him in the exact same category, and I look at him with the same opinion as I do of Rick Dyer. I just think Todd Standing is doing a much better job of promoting himself to be legitimate when he actually isn't. And again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's people like that discredit the legitimate researchers, and they take away the legitimacy of the actual subject of Bigfoot being real.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Standing put out a new video last week?
No, I didn't know that.
It wasn't a video of Bigfoot. It was a video of him requesting that somebody in high in the government come out with him on one of his expeditions so that he could prove to them that it's real. So it was like a 20-minute rant about come with me and I'll take you out and I'll show you Bigfoot, and then that'll be the end of the story.
Yes,
he just went on and on and on and on.
He
and
also
that was
filed
just a week ago.
He also filed a lawsuit in the BC Supreme Court trying to prove that Bigfoot was real. And
it got dismissed.
It got dismissed. And then he went to California and did it with Claudia, and the same thing. But she's got now 2 court coming up and a 3rd one on the way in regards to her Bigfoot sighting.
She's gonna be blowed down every time, unless she can. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, people don't realize it is a tough situation. It is a tough case to be involved with because, you need to have the undeniable, what's the right word? You need to have the undeniable. If you got to take it to court and try to prove it exists, basically you need, I don't know. Yeah, you need something solid though, So
I'm gonna post the.
It does.
Well, in 1948, 78, 88, the United States government, Army Corps of Engineers, acknowledges Sasquatch as being the native species of North America. Now, it's the United States government. So they already know that it's true. They're just sitting back laughing at us because we're trying to prove it, and they already know it.
Okay, I'm gonna post the link in the chat to the Sylvanic Bigfoot debunking article that I read from, so that you can all go to it and make your own conclusions. There, I just posted it.
No, yeah, but one thing you did mention, Kevin, which I agree that Standing is very persistent. Is that the right word? Yeah. He is. He is very much on top of this. He's really trying to push this. I mean,
well, when he first came out with those videos, everybody was all up on that and had found the actual paper where he had requested for actors in the wanted papers.
Yeah, exactly.
They found he hired actors. He has 2 production companies. His wife is a makeup artist. Things are just falling into place that didn't make any sense.
The other thing I wanted to know, and I wanted to see if it is the paperwork that he claimed to have DNA evidence documented on file, or documents of DNA evidence of some kind of unknown primate, blah blah blah. I don't know how he obtained that, if it is true, but when he first talked about having documents with DNA that came forth as some kind of primate, but nothing known among us that was something totally unknown. That's what I wanted to see. I don't know if there's any, or if there has been any further information regarding that, because that there when I heard that I was like, okay, that sounds pretty cool, you know.
Yeah, but send any DNA most anywhere, and it's gonna come back contaminated. Bear, wolf, something, human contaminated something. No, there is not, I don't believe, a credible lab in the United States or probably anywhere else who the government hasn't already told. Don't give them the correct finding.
Well, the thing is, that's where science, science is very objective to begin with. However, a lot of them are not going to stake their reputations on, there's with DNA procedures, there's a lot to go through to get actual results. But
what told to do.
Yeah, but what puzzles me is that he claimed to have had all this information, that everything got proven, and that he had documentation of it. But I don't know.
The dog. I get it, Dan.
Okay. Yeah, that's what got me. But supposedly that's part of what he was taking to court, and apparently it was still not enough to where it got, his whole case got dismissed. So
well, I've always maintained that if I were in a position where I had found, whether I'd found what I thought was Bigfoot attributable objects, fur, skin, hair, whatever. If I ever came across something like that myself, being in the field that I work in, my first I'm trying to think of the right word here. My first thought would be that I want to get this tested independently. So if it were me, I would find an independent research lab that does DNA analysis, send off a portion of that hair to that research or that DNA analysis lab, and I would get it independently reviewed and provide.
Yeah.
Was that me?
Of course I don't know. You may have gone blank for a little bit while you were talking. I heard what you're saying, then it got quiet there.
Tail end, he did. Yeah, he would find an independent.
Yeah, but as far as sending in, you would find a independent lab, which I agree. And of course, the other thing is too, that's very important, is not to mention of what the possibility of what it could be. Basically, you want to send it in blindly.
Yeah.
Of course,
yeah.
That's how a lot of labs usually work with each other when they send off to another lab, is for a blind review or blind testings. There's other proper term, I can't think of them all right now, but so yeah, basically that's how you would send in the samples. You send them in blindly.
Yes.
Without mentioning any possibilities of what you think it might be.
I mean, there's been a lot of people over the years that have, said, yes, I have, what I believe is Sasquatch or Bigfoot, fecal matter, hair, tissue, blood, whatever. And, it either comes back as attributable to like a bear, a yak, a cow, horse, whatever, or it comes back inconclusive. And when it's inconclusive, 99.9% of the time they say that it's because it's been contaminated with human DNA.
Right.
I have yet to, in my experience, there's been a lot of, there's been a number of people that have said, yes, I've got the DNA, the proof is here. It comes back and says, this is not any known primate, but it's in that genus or, the hominid part of the animal kingdom. But I've never seen anything that's definitive.
Yeah. Now, anybody on the panel or even those on the live chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that there are at least 2 labs that have the capability or technology to abstract and separate contamination from any sample. And I believe Oxford University may be one of them.
In 1991, I'm in my research area. I find hair, blood, and saliva in a birthing bed. I take it to National Institute of Health where I was working at the time. I hand it to it. I was contracted through McCullough Brothers, and I was contracted to the DNA department. I went in when I come back from the weekend, and I handed the material to a guy I knew who worked there. And he'd done it, and 3 days later, he comes back, he gives me a piece of paper and says, whatever it is, it's 98% human, 2% Neanderthal. And that was in 1991.
And what did he say the percentages were?
98% human and 2% Neanderthal. Squatches can speak language. They speak, when people hear them talk, it sounds like samurai chatter, but you start slowing it down 25, 50, 75%, you start understanding a dialect language. And when I started hearing that, I started looking to the native tribes that was in my region, which is Cherokee. And I heard and looked up and researched the word O-C-O-E-Ya-Ni-Ha. And in the dialect language, that means, hello, I'm your friend, and I mean you no harm. So when we go in the woods, we speak at every time, and we get a response. Plus, they can and do speak English when they want to. They're the only primates that has vocal cords to speak a language.
We do have a question on the live chat, and it's actually directed right to you, Fred.
Oh boy. I wonder who it could be. All right, what is it?
Oh, you know who they are if I tell you.
Yeah, I know who they are. Did you shit me? Okay, what is it?
Where are the DNA records, Fred?
Well, in 1991, you didn't talk about it. And at the time, I wasn't a very clean person in my car. But I never mentioned it to anybody. Because back in 91, if you talked about Bigfoot, they thought you were nuttier than a fruitcake. A lot of people around here still think I'm nuttier than a fruitcake, you know. But, you know, I had it done. I really, you know, at the time, you know, I really, you know, I knew about Bigfoot. I seen, you know, I had one 5 feet in front of me in 1981. 85, I seen another one, you know. And then, you know, then I periodically see one here and there, you know. Then after 91, you know, I just, you know, you didn't talk about it then, you know, so I never told anybody. And I just, you know, really, I was into it, but I wasn't into it. You know, I researched. And then here in the last 15, 20 years, I really started getting into it hot and heavy. Because when I first started, I did 5 years of science when I started. Who's crackling? Okay.
All right.
Okay. And you know, when I first started researching, I was science hot and heavy. And I'm like, okay, 5 years later, you know, I mean, I found evidence, you know, I mean, I found DNA hair, you know, I got videos of me plucking it off the phone poles with, you know, tweezers and the gloves and all that crap, you know. And I come to the point that I came to a dead end. I mean, a dead end. I said, well, this ain't going to work. So I decided, well, let me start researching to the Native Americans. So I found out which tribes was in my region on the East Coast, and I started researching them. The stories, the legends, the hieroglyphs, the languages, everything. And then I found out more and more about them. And then over the last 15 years, I really started seeing squatches. Now, and I invite anybody to our camp. If you want to see squatches, come to the camp. Rick Dyer came. He got spooked. The weekend of Daniel's conference this past year. the people Daniel sent, well, that they went to the camp, so I was supposed to do a night hike. We didn't have to leave the chairs. We had squatches all around, plus juveniles standing out in the open for about 20 minutes to an hour, you know, and then they all left, because what they do is they cross the road right in front of us and they head up on a mountain. But till then, you know, the juveniles are doing their little thing, you know, we got the adults standing around and stuff, you know, moseying around. So I invite anybody who wants to see them, and if they think I'm full of crap, fine. But if you want to see them, come to the camp.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to read off, this is actually from just a small part of an article from National Geographic. It goes on, everyone living outside of Africa has a small part of Neanderthal in them, carried as a living relic of these ancient encounters. A team of scientists comparing the full genomes of the two species concluded that most Europeans and Asians have approximately 2% Neanderthal DNA. And forgive me for getting tongue-tied. Indigenous sub-Saharan Africans have none or very little Neanderthal DNA because their ancestors did not migrate through Eurasia. And then everybody has Neanderthal DNA. The person that have the results was making fun of this sample. And then there's I actually got a link that was shared to me, and which I'll actually share that in the live chat here shortly.
Now, I've read articles about that.
If y'all seen when MK Davis comes on nighttime, you know, he says, "Hi, it's me again," stuff like that. All right, he took the video, and Nikki has a problem with this. What he did, he took the color out of the original black and white video, because whoever got it colored it. But when he took the coloring out on this side of the face, what's the first thing you see? Neanderthal. That's the first thing you see. You can see a split in her lip right here. And he took a screenshot, or made a big square of like different, from the uncolored thing all the way to the colored part. And you can see she was moving her mouth while she was walking.
Talking about Patty?
But you can see the braid going around. You can see her ear, you can see his eye, you know, her eye, the whole 9 yards, you know. But she had a braid going across here and had a piece of wood in it, and a braid going down her back. Now, whoever got a hold of that video, who bought that rights to the video, colored it. And the people who got it got their lawyers to say, we want all the copies back. Well, I think it's Joe Green or John Green, one that I can't remember the guy's name. He didn't send his back. He kept it because he knew he didn't have to do it. And that's how MK was able to do it, because he had the copy of the uncut version. Now, from what we've seen from the time it hit theaters to now, what you're seeing is the colored version that these people redid it. Because when you look at Patty, it shows her, you know, her whole face, you know, shows her big mouth and all beard and all that crap, you know. But when you take and bring it back to the original, the black and white version from that camera, you actually see this side of the face that was not colored. It was from exactly what Patterson videoed. And you see Neanderthal. You see the high cheekbones, the tall, high forehead, the eye, everything.
Anyone want to jump in on that?
If I could ask Fred, not getting off topic, but I wanted to ask Fred, the person that you gave the lab that you gave that DNA sample to, I'm just a little perplexed here, and maybe you can set me straight here. How could they have known that
they didn't?
No, hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
How could they have known that it was 98% human and 2% Neanderthal DNA when that technology was not available at that time. They only managed to, the Max Planck Institute in Germany was only able to get DNA from Neanderthal bones in 1997, which postdates your statement by about 6 or 7 years.
Well,
could you?
Number one, National Institute of Health is a research lab. Actually, it looks like a big underground city in Rockville, Maryland. And they work with AIDS patients. They research, oh God, there's so much shit they research. They experiment, they do everything. There's a lot of stuff that the public doesn't know what actually the NIH does. It's National Institute of Health. And when I handed that guy those things, he said, "What is it?" I said, "I don't know. Do it for me." He did it as a favor for me, and I told him what it was afterwards.
Okay, I'm not trying to debunk the science or your experience. I'm just saying that based on what I know and what I've got in front of me, the Max Planck Institute in Germany was only able to, and in their words, tease DNA from Neanderthal bones in 1997.
I didn't give him bones. I give him blood, saliva, and a hair sample.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if modern DNA analysis was only provided with Neanderthal DNA in 1997, okay, because the Max Planck Institute was the first research laboratory or entity that was able to get DNA from Neanderthal samples, whether they're bones or tissue or whatever. They were the first people that were able to get DNA from Neanderthal bones. So,
well, here's the thing about it.
Let me finish.
Okay.
My point is, and I'm not trying to be combative, and I'm not trying to cast a doubt on what you're saying. I'm just a little perplexed as to how your researcher or the representative of the NIH could say definitively, yes, this has Neanderthal DNA, when Neanderthal DNA was not extracted. The first samples were not able to be extracted from samples of Neanderthal bones until 97. Where is he getting his? Where did he get his Neanderthal DNA from to make the comparison? I guess that's my question.
Well, the answer is, as I said, I give him blood, hair, and saliva. What he did after that, I have no idea. But that's what he come up with.
Right,
I didn't tell him what it was because I wasn't sure myself. And that's what he told me. Give me a paper and told me that.
Okay.
I don't know how he did it.
Okay.
Now, I didn't say it was a Neanderthal. I didn't say it was human. I didn't say it was a monkey. I didn't even say it was a chimpanzee. I just said, can you do a DNA sample on this? That's all I asked him.
Right.
What he did after that, I don't know.
Right. I understand that, but do you see?
I don't know. That's what I'm telling you. I do not know how he did it.
Okay.
Only thing I did with them was I did what they said. And as far as contracting goes, that's all I did. What he did in the lab, I have no idea.
Right. Okay. I'm just, I'm just asking. I'm just trying to, get my head around that kind of a science. So,
that's why I never said anything. I got this in 91. I kept my mouth shut.
Right.
Because back in 91, here, I don't know why across the United States, but here, you didn't talk about stuff like that.
Right.
Period.
Right. Well, based on what I know, and this is not, a slight against you, I would seriously doubt the science behind that individual's.
I don't know. These guys are world famous. These guys work with AIDS patients, dead AIDS patients. They do all sorts of crap in there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that the public don't even know what they do.
Right.
Just like the military.
And again, I'm sure they do good work in other areas. But my belief is that the science behind that particular DNA test is questionable. That's just my opinion.
I mean, that's your opinion. Everybody has one. And as far as I'm concerned, the only thing I know is I give it to him. He gives me a paper 3 days later. That's all I know.
Do you still have the paperwork that he gave you?
As I said, in 91, I was working in Maryland, and I was not very neat with my car.
Oh, okay.
Because I really didn't think about it at the time. He told me, "Oh, okay, cool, that's cool." Basically it. Now, if I was dead into it like I am right now, yeah, I kept paper, but no, I didn't. And because I really wasn't worried about it. I was just curious.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me what it was, so I kept my mouth shut, until I thought the time was right to say something, and I did a couple months ago. I mean, I tell people, you can believe me or you don't have to believe me. I don't care. I'm just telling you what was handed to me. That's it. But I do know that they speak a language. They speak native, what they call ancient dialect language. There are over 90 plus extinct languages in the United States that are Native American or native languages from different tribes. The last tribe to go extinct was the Chumucum tribe on the northern peninsula of Washington State. Their language was used until I think he said 40, 45, Daniel, give or take like that, and the guy who in the Navy who studied, I guess, language of people or ever what he did on the ship, he intercepted things. He knew it was a language, but I don't think he thought about the 90 plus extinct languages like the Trail of Tears. Their languages were forbidden to be spoken anymore, so they went extinct because they were took it. They say Trail of Tears. They were forced to cut their hair, go to school, go to church, just like white person. And if they spoke the language, it would be the hell beat out of them or whatever, vice versa, whatever how they did back in them days. So that's language, So what I'm hearing and what I'm recording when I get a chance to, and when I speak native tongue, we get responses. We get tree knocks. Very rare, very rarely we get a whoop. They follow us all the time because Daniel has videoed a Sasquatch sitting right out in the open against a tree watching us. He videoed and didn't even know it. And I tell people, they hide in the open. People say, how do you know? Our brains are programmed to look for something that is hidden behind a rock, behind a car. Hell, even behind one of the guys over in North Carolina, they hide. Yeah, they hide behind you. Both of you. There you go. That right there. Okay. You see? But the fact is that they are so they are so good that they hide in the open. I got a photograph that Connie took of me. My girlfriend took my wife, took of me 25 yards standing away from her in the woods and posted it. And she said, "What's in this photograph?" Everybody said nothing. She zoomed in 2 days later, said, "Freddie standing there." Then we started looking at the photograph right behind me, 30 feet. There's a Sasquatch standing right in the open, right behind me. And I never seen it. So that's one thing you can expect from them. But they do speak a language. You just have to slow it down. Like in Canada, I'll give you a good tip. Go to Ron Moorhead, 76 Sierra Sounds. Pick what sounds like talking. Copy it and then listen to it and slow it down. You start hearing a native tongue language.
Are you talking about the samurai chatter?
The samurai chatter, slow it down. You slow it down, you get a language. That's how I figured out that the Squatches in my area over on the East Coast speak ancient Cherokee dialect. We've heard them. We've recorded them. We've even heard them speak English. We've even heard them speak English behind the camp. I'll tell you what, Kent, when you get the time, if you can make it down here to Virginia, get with Daniel, get with me, or we'll take you to our areas and everything, and then we'll sit at my camp. And all you gotta do is just sit there. I'm even gonna invite the boys from North Carolina to come on down if they want. And all they gotta do is just sit there.
I agree. I've been and is very active.
Because the night of Daniel's conference, we had, I have 7 clans in my area right now. And we see them, all 7 clans at the same time crossing the road. We got an 18-footer on the left side. We got an 18-footer on the right side. And the rest of them come across. I've learned how the juveniles belly crawl or spider crawl. I've had them within 2 foot of me in the shadows. You know, I learned, you know, we learn from these creatures, but what I mainly learned through is the structures that they leave. You take the structures, take a picture of them, because the structures will tell you which way they're going, how many's in the group. They'll take you to food, water, bedding area, birthing areas. They got structures of everything. Then you go to the ancient dialect or the ancient hieroglyphs of that particular tribe or any tribe, as a matter of fact, and it will tell you, it will give your magic gives you a word. You start researching that word. Once you start researching that word, it takes you back in time. More or less, it's like an archaeologist. It takes you back in time. And then those words that catch your eye, write them down. Look at them up. You go further back in time. Then you start coming forward. Once you start coming forward is when you start learning about Bigfoot. Now you hear the stories of the stories, the legends, all this stuff. Like I say, 90% of them in Appalachia is true. Like we seen a 20-footer one time. Never thought we'd see one. Never heard of one. Through the Native Americans, are called the ancient giants. Only the ancient giants come out at night. We got lucky and seen one.
And how tall was it?
20 foot.
And how were you able to measure it?
Very simple. We got a lot of trees in the. We get see about 60 yards in front of us. We got a dirt road, which is the main dirt road, goes up and down through the coal roads. And they walk up and down that road at nighttime when there's no cars. We're sitting there in the camper, we're watching them go down and get down the road, because we saw juveniles in a tree raising hell. I counted 26 squatches around the camp that had bluish gray eyes. Found out through a Cherokee shaman that the bluish gray eyes means protective mode. And the weird thing was, we heard native tongue singing behind the camp while this sucker walked down the road. Now, everybody tried to get me to come on the show and say, oh, tell them you lied and all this crap. I'm saying no, because the very next morning, a Cherokee shaman from North Carolina called me, because we went Facebook Live with this the best we could. And he told me that everything that we seen and what we said and described is exactly what every native tribe in the United States and Canada has seen at least once in their lifetime. It's in the stories, it's in the legends, it's in the theories, it's everything, and it's true.
Fred, if I could ask, how do you feel about Bigfoot being interdimensional or able to cloak?
Guess what? You know what the cloaking is? You're standing there looking at him, right? All of a sudden, he just slowly backs up. He blends in. That's all he does. He's not interdimensional. He don't come out of a spaceship. He don't fly through the woods with wings on going, I'm a fairy. He don't do none of that stuff. He's just flesh and blood. To me, they are the original native Indians, because everything that the native Indians do, they do. Who learned from who? Did the Squatches learn from the natives, or did natives learn from Squatches? Everything the natives did, they learned the old ways. The languages that they speak, the ancient dialect language, is dialect, the old ways.
What do you feel about the native skinwalker people down there?
I've never seen one. I can't tell you. Yes, well, I'll take it back. I watched those 3 kook balls that go out. Those ghost hunter guys, they go out and they was up there. You know, they had to get blessed and give some kind of root from a Navajo spiritualist or native. And they had to go all this crap, you know, and they act weird. I don't know. I can't tell you, because I've never seen one. I've heard of them through the natives, but I've never seen one. I cannot tell you yes or no. I do not know. To me, it sounds like a bunch of crap. But on the other hand, the Navajo police have got a video out of them. They heard something screaming through the mountains and they decided to go look for it. Well, they seen something up in the cave. They seen 2 eyeballs in the cave, but when they got up there, there was nothing in the cave, and the cave was like 5 foot deep and about 4 foot high. They saw 2 big bright yellow eyes about this far apart, but when we went up there to get into it, there's nothing there. Is that a skinwalker? I have no idea. I don't know. But I know Sasquatch it's flesh and blood. They're not aliens. They don't go through portholes like that one quack we got right here says, I seen a porthole in my backyard and seen what was in that porthole. That's a bunch of crap.
Daniel, you still with us?
Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of because I got other people messaging me regarding outside of this podcast. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did you fall asleep or did you?
No. I'm multitasking right now.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd gone for a nappy poo or something like that.
No. No.
Anyway,
what's up?
Did you? Was it okay to talk about the other experience that I had, which predates my other ones, which we didn't have time to get to, or do you want me to save that for another night?
Well, let's wait and see what happens. I like to try to somewhat stay on topic to where we are because I know others have been listening to you guys conversate. I wanted to give others on the panel a chance to talk. I want to jump to Taylor and Tate real quick because they look like they've been sitting back and I've seen them. They've been conversating. Seems like they might have something to throw in. I wanted to give them a chance. Taylor, Tate, you have anything you want to throw in on that?
Enjoying the show. Yeah, we're just enjoying it.
Right.
Yeah. But before we even like reach out to Fred, I come across, this was whenever we were new, about I'd say I guess a year and a half ago, we come across Fred's channel and him speaking of the native, like the native chants and I guess the samurai chatter and the different formations of tree structures and stuff like that. The knocks, everything he says of that point of the tree structures, the native talks. We've experienced that stuff.
We can vouch for Fred.
And I can vouch for Fred on that activity because that whenever I joined his live feed, whenever he come across and he was speaking of that, I get cold chills when he's talking about it. And then I called David that the same day. Tate can vouch for me. I called David. I'm like, there's a guy on Facebook I just found. I found him, I think, through Daniel would like shared something of him. So I went to Fred's page, and I mean, it put cold chills on me because he was experiencing the exact same stuff as us. A couple hundred miles through the same aren't y'all on the Appalachian Trail? Well, the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Appalachian Trail. I mean, and that to us, we can vouch for. Like, I believe that everything he says on that point. We haven't been lucky enough to see the Sasquatch of 20 foot. Could there be? I'm not here to debunk him on that. We haven't seen it, but that don't mean Fred hasn't seen it because there's a lot of people that haven't seen a small Sasquatch and they keep saying it's fake. So who are we to debunk Fred on a 20-foot tall Sasquatch whenever there's a lot of people that don't think a 8-foot tall Sasquatch exists? So I mean, it could go either way, but we can't vouch for him on the native sounds, the structures, just the tree knocks, the chants.
The beauty about this topic and debate of the whole Bigfoot spectrum, existence, non-existence, whichever side you are on, we all believe they're on this panel, but the beauty of it is there are some facts in the Sasquatch realm, but there also are a lot of opinions by individuals, and that's what the beauty of it. It's always a conversation piece. It's always a debate. It's always something interesting. There's always something people can, spread their opinions on, and they may be facts, they may not be facts, but that's the beauty of it. We all are just here to kind of work it out together and just go forward and see what we can find out about these creatures.
Yeah. But that's where we stand on that. I mean, we love hearing everyone's stuff, but we can vouch on that chatter. I mean, it's like no other. We've heard it. It put cold chills on me. That's what turned me more from skeptic to believing this. There's something out there, and what is it? I don't know. I mean, I think it's a Sasquatch. Us, we do, but people will call us crazy. But yeah, that's where we stand, Daniel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I say, hey, I want to welcome Sam. I see Sam was able to make it in tonight. Sam, I don't know how much you caught on this here. I don't know if you wanted to throw anything in tonight, or you just want to sit back and listen.
It's. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
It's Christmas.
That
Listen,
it is.
well, let me say this. All right. I'm going to totally disagree, and Fred knows he's got no 20-footer in his area. Sorry, guys. If you had a 20-foot Sasquatch in your area, it would make a path in the woods like a freaking bulldozer. Okay? There again, it would have to eat so much in a day's time, so many calories to support the weight of itself at 20 feet tall. It's impossible. Hey, and if you saw a 20-foot Bigfoot, you should have had the clearest picture in the world at 20 foot. So,
See, that's what David said. David told us if there was a Sasquatch that big, but that's where we come in. He said it would be leaving craters in the ground. Like he said that a 20-footer would be leaving craters if a 8-footer is leaving imprints. He said
I'm not disputing on any evidence that Fred gets up there. I'm disputing his 20-foot claim.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's how David stands. He's with you on that part about that. Yeah.
Can you also imagine the size of the dung?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's ludicrous.
I wouldn't want to be stepping in any of its piles. I know that.
Yeah. Okay, here in the Shenandoah Valley.
I live in the same valley, man.
No.
Yeah, I do.
Listen to what I'm saying. In my area, it's eat up with mountain laurel.
Mine is too.
And up on the mountain, they got plenty of food source. God knows how much food source up there. Okay? I'm only telling y'all what we saw that night because I never thought of a Squatch being over 12 foot tall, period.
Mm-hmm.
I know in Canada, they got them up to 26 foot tall in Canada.
Well, I doubt that.
Well, there's a couple of people, I don't know. But, you know, through the Native Americans and through what we've seen and researched, they're called ancient giants. You know why no one sees them? Because they're elusive. Just like when they hide in the open. They're there, we just don't see them. And besides, only time I go to the top of the mountain is when I'm Jeep riding to the parkway. And it's so thick, you can't get through there. And as far as watching him, he was walking down the dirt road. I didn't see where he went in at.
There you go. You should have tracks. If he's walking down a dirt road at 20,
on the dirt road
at 20 feet tall, Fred, it would be leaving craters. Exactly.
Nope.
An 8-foot Sasquatch leaves an 1.5 to 2-inch footprint. My God.
In soil, right? Yes,
dirt.
In soil. We're talking about a dirt road that's been packed down for 80, 90 years.
Okay.
Gravel. The Shenandoah Valley is, in the area I'm at, is river rock because it used to be a river. That's how hard it is. You can't hardly find any soft spots from the foot all the way to the top of the mountain because it's so rocky. So rocky. Now, as far as making a path 10 foot wide, I don't know. I've never seen it.
Did it go in the woods? Did it go in the woods?
We don't know. We just saw it.
So it just walking down the road.
We saw an 18-footer in front and it walking behind. And the very next day, we got a call from a Cherokee shaman in North Carolina. And he told us what we saw has happened to every tribe at least once in their lifetime.
What tribe was he from?
I don't know. All he said was, I'm a shaman from North Carolina. That's all I know. Take it or leave it. I don't care. Now, taking a picture, I tell people, do not take pictures because once you bring a camera up, they're gone. Why do you think we can't get a clear picture of them with a photograph or with the game camera? When you get one with the camera, with the game camera, it's in a blur. Their hearing is sensitive.
Well, personally, I think the photo.
Wait. Let me finish first. Let me tell you how intelligent these creatures are.
Well, they don't know English. That's for damn sure.
You're full of crap on that one.
Nah, whatever, man.
Well, leave that. But anyway,
you know that.
Here is how
false
intelligent
claim.
they are. Here's how intelligent they are. I got them binocular down next to the chair. I see one running from across the road to the front of the camp in the shadow. I take my binocular, don't even cut it on, and just hold it up. He stops. I set it down. He takes off. I pick it up again. He freezes and never once looks at me. Now, how can they do that?
It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
Their hearing and their sight is that good. You have the color of their eyes. When their eyes are white, they have a black line that runs from one side to the eye to the other. That line right there allows them to see in pitch black darkness. That's why you have the white eyes, the yellowish orange eyes, the green eyes, the red eyes. White means they're in a devilish playful mood. Yellow eyes means curious. Yellowish orange means nervous. Emerald green means contented and relaxed. And red means pissed off. Now, I tell people, you want to see them, come to the camp. I invited you twice last year, Sam, and you never showed up. And all you had to do,
you know why I didn't show up?
Well,
you know why I didn't show up?
You didn't bring your casting crew with you. That's what it was.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, okay.
That's what you told me.
No, Fred's his requirements were this: you cannot bring cameras or any video equipment into my area.
What?
So that's what he said.
Really?
Yeah, and so I mean, it's like, how do you know I've not already been there?
Well, if you're there during the day, you ain't gonna see shit because you don't know what to look for. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
we took Daniel into my area, and he videoed a Sasquatch sitting in the open.
Daniel.
Daniel, do you want to weigh in on that?
Daniel.
All right. Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
You want to weigh in on what Fred just said?
All right. What part did I just miss? Because I was on the other. I was trying to listen to you guys, but I was on the other screen. What part did I miss?
The video where you was up in the woods with me and Connie, and you videoed that juvenile squatch sitting right in front of you.
Yeah. All right. After this year, the video was viewed. Of course, after it gets uploaded, we watch our videos and everything to go through them, and yeah, of course, in person, while I was there, I didn't notice anything. I did not notice anything there while we were present. But it got pointed out and in the video, and I have to admit that it did appear there was something up against a stump, but the stump was hollowed out. To me, it looked like there was something sitting inside the stump. It was a hollow, rotted out stump.
Yeah, because we kept looking at it, and you could, by the sun glistening on its head right here, you could see it move just barely, just like that. Just barely, because you sent the video to us, and we kept it, and I studied it and studied it. It was what he was doing. He was sitting there on the ground with his legs like this, had his arms like this, and he had his head down like this, looking at you. And the sun was glistening off his part of the head.
Now, another thing I do want to go in there, and because I've been in there a lot without friends, and I've been there with either by myself, or I've actually had other people with me. In one particular time, and I've shared this story before too. This is beyond like where Fred's talking about with this guy video. There's a field just we were just out off the edge of the field in the woods. But if you go down beyond the field, there's a trail that runs deep in the woods out there, and it takes you, if you follow it out and continue on, it'll take you to the parkway. And I've had experiences back there, both by myself and with others. But I've been back there where I've videotaped something moving around, and at that time I ruled it out as probably just a small bear playing on the ridge and behind some foliage. Well, after videotaping that, I continue further up the trail, and right after I cross, there's a creek up ahead. After crossing the creek, I just crossed the creek and started onto the other side where the trail continues. And got me and the individual that was with me, we both got stopped in our tracks because this large rock got thrown right at us next to the creek, because it landed right in the creek where you could hear the big splash, and as soon as we heard it, we both went through the little bit of the trees and debris and tried to look across the other side from where we came. Of course, we did not see nothing, but we did get a whoop that was like somewhere in the back in the distance, and so I personally started putting two and two together. I said, was that a squatch that we were looking at? Could there have been more? Because I think it's all safe to say that we could all agree that a bear ain't gonna throw a large rock, a rock period. Something threw that rock, and something whooped at us after we tried to go to see what it was. That was just one experience. I've experienced tree knocks in there, both with me and my daughter. We've gotten responses from tree knocks. I know Michael Cook was there a couple years ago. It was the month of January. He got responses all around us. That we weren't expecting that, but as far as the tree knocks, it was exciting. But I guess the point of what I'm getting at is, without being there with Fred, I've experienced things, and I've seen things. I personally have found tracks in the area. But and then over the years, for those who know me and Fred very well, there's a lot that me and Fred will agree to disagree on, and there's a lot of things I kind of the things that we both disagree on. I guess we more or less keep quiet about it, but to each of their own, So, but as far as vouching for what's in the area, there's definitely squatches in that area, no doubt. So,
hey Daniel, it's Mike. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, I just want to say a couple things, and I unfortunately have to hop off soon.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, if there are 20-footers, I hope to God they are using portals. And then I wanted to make Fred laugh.
Oh Lord.
But but let me tell you something, man. I mean, me and Daniel, we've been through holy hell together. He's ragged me, I've ragged him. But what the bottom line is, he has experienced a lot in my area, and his research area was my very first research area, and I can tell you that there definitely is squatches in his area. That ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about that. Plus the family clan, because I told Daniel if you wanted to see squatches, go to a certain area. Well, they was up there that night, or a couple nights later, and they haven't come down through there, and they saw them. It kind of freaked them out there, but they did see them, And what people don't realize about here in the valley where I live at, I'm, by the way the crow flies, I'm 5 minutes from the parkway, and the squatches go up on the mountain to hunt. The guys who own the property across the road from my camp, Daniel, I finally got to meet them at BNR, and I told them, I said, in this particular area, you have 7 clans. He says, I know. We see them and we know about them, but we leave them alone. I said, okay, that's cool. But he knows about them. And
how many creatures are in each clan?
He's telling me of what he sees. He's seeing 20 total. And because he said they got pods all over this one area back on his property. What we've seen 25 or 30 coming across the road on the left side and the right side in about an hour's time. Now,
a herd of Sasquatch coming across the road.
Yeah, because they got to eat, so they cross the road. We just happen to be in the right spot at the right time. Now,
30 of them, and you couldn't get a clear picture one out of 30.
Why the hell do you want to take a picture? Because you're not going to get it one.
Isn't that what we're trying to prove, that this exists? I don't give a shit
if you use a camera that you can see 1,000 yards, look through a keyhole and seeing a guy taking a dump. You ain't going to get a picture of them clear, period. I don't give a damn who you are. They have not made a piece of equipment yet that'll catch a squatch. Clear as a bell. The only clear one now is the Patty one, and look how many years it took M.K. Davis to clear it up. And you think that I'm going to go out there and take a picture of a Sasquatch? That's not going to happen. No one can get a clear photo. I don't care if you got a 50-cent camera from Dollar General, or if you got the world's most expensive camera that you buy from a Nikon place in Hollywood, California, you're not going to get a daggone clear photograph, period. And if you take one at nighttime in my area, all you're going to see is eyeballs.
Oh, damn, I can keep y'all way in the living room.
That's all that's all you're going to see, Sam. So it don't make a difference if it's a $5 camera or $1 million camera. You're not going to catch a clear picture of Sasquatch. Mainly the face. Body. Look at the guy, what's that guy's? Freeman. Look at Freeman. He got that big fat one coming through. Was it a female? We don't know. She laid down and picked up something. Did she have a baby? We don't know. He got lucky.
But isn't that the goal, Fred? The whole goal is to get a decent photo.
No one can get a decent picture.
No,
period.
maybe we're not, because
Oh,
all
you
of
talking
us
about the
have
Freeman?
a skeptic that's not going to agree to it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
But
true.
the
You know, people can agree
and
with me.
even you post photos all the time. All the time.
I'm taking them off the videos we get. All the photos that I got come off videos that we make in our wood. Yeah. But the way I see it, you can believe me or you don't have to believe me. I don't care.
I believe that
because I tell people
has Squatch. That is something I've always thought.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nikki, and I tell everybody else.
I'm kind of like Sam, and you know that I just didn't believe in the 20-footers in that respect.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Burping.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Research, do some research, okay, through the legends and the theories and stuff.
Oh no, we're not going to go on that one, Fred. I don't feel like going through the whole language.
Look, I have to cut in there.
On the language.
Okay, see you later.
Sasquatch speaks Sasquatch, and that's it until we know. You know.
I don't care. You don't have to.
I have to cut. I have to cut in. I have to cut in here and offer my apologies.
Please do.
I didn't realize I had my microphone unmuted. That was me burping. So I have to offer my apologies. I didn't realize my microphone wasn't muted.
Yeah, the viewers were asking who was burping. They didn't like.
What the heck?
Sorry about that.
Hey, let me say something. I didn't get on here to get on here and fight with Fred. I was just disputing his 20-foot claims. But let's go on to something else, which is what in 2019, and let's go down the panel here of what everybody's, let's say, predictions are for 2019. Will there be a new breakout, quote unquote, Finding Bigfoot type show? What state would you think the creature is actually going to be proven to exist in? Start off with the guys from North Carolina.
Take it away, Taylor.
I'm from North Carolina.
I think, I don't know. I kind of hope that there's more evidence found of it, but if someone does prove it, it kind of takes the joy out of it for us, for everyone in here. You know what I'm saying? It just, honestly, I would like to see pictures, but I enjoy this. I enjoy going out looking for it. That's me. What about you?
I foresee predicting a good new TV show coming out.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be another 2018. I think we'll have some decent evidence. I don't think anybody's going to find concrete proof, but I do think that new eyebrow-raising evidence will be discovered. That's my educated guess on it.
Yeah.
If I had to bet money.
Awesome.
Well, I want to jump in there real quick. Now, like you had mentioned, Taylor, that hey, if it was discovered, that would take the fun out of it, which I could completely and totally understand that. But I've heard people say that in the past, and I've thought about that.
Yeah,
to me, that's not going to stop it for me because there's so much to learn about these creatures that we mainly just assume about, and that we because we really don't know because. I mean, the only thing we do know is if some of us are physically observing their behaviors, which some of us are, and we get a feel for why and for what reasons and whatnot. But again, I just think there's so much to learn, to come to understand about these creatures, and they're just fascinating overall.
Yeah.
So it's just like anybody. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to throw one thing in, Daniel. Going up, backing up you on that. Yeah, I think personally for me, if one was discovered in 2019 or whenever one is discovered, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like you said, everybody's gonna go out and do it. I look at it as like deer or turkey hunt or any kind of other game hunting. We know we can walk out in the woods. We know we're gonna see a deer, turkey, whatever, bear, but people go out and have a blast hunting them. They don't ever quit. So it's not like the fun would be taken out of it if one is discovered like concrete. There it is. Yeah, so I think it'll still be a lot of fun
because we could still look for different species of it and stuff like that. I mean, I agree.
And another thing, if we compare Sasquatch to a mountain lion, cougar, I mean, look how many states that people the authorities deny, but yet there's so many witnesses of it. That's seen them in every state one way or another. Multiple people in certain states. I mean, I can speak for Virginia alone. There's blogs on the internet, people sharing their sightings, and I did a small blog on my blog site on my ECBRO WordPress site, and I've had people either reply on there or email me directly sharing their sightings, and some of them are right here in the surrounding counties. I was like, oh man, that is awesome. So, but and then you have researchers that do study these various species, various creatures. So, we have wildlife biologists such as the late Dr. John Bindernagel. So, and then hey, one day there's going to be someone that could be classified as a Bigfoot researcher, or of course they would, Bigfoot is considered a cryptid, so you got cryptozoology, which is a subtitle of a zoology, so you got your zoologists out there that are studying and so forth. So
Sam's question was what new TV show would be coming out, and what state did he think Bigfoot could possibly be found in?
Yeah, I know we got a little off topic.
No. So Matt Moneymaker has got a show coming out called Native Giants. That's the only one I know of that's coming out soon, right? And then there's if you look at sightings per state, I mean, closest to us, again, I think Ohio has a really good shot, or Florida. But I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm anti-Pacific Northwest, but I rarely get stories given to me from that area. Although I've got a guy from the DNR who claims he's going to send me all kinds of stuff. So until then, I can't say, but I really believe that something will be closer to the Midwest or Deep South.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, it's one thing I know I've mentioned it and others have too. I really think that a lot of people neglect the East Coast and because if you look at the alleged sightings, and if you just look at the overall sightings, a lot of them vary from the East Coast to the Midwest itself. Like I said, ranging from from Florida, Maine, whatever. And then just the population, we're not. I'm trying to find the right way to word this, because the Pacific Northwest, it's got a big reputation for Sasquatch. Why? Because the Patterson incident happened out there, and then other logging, sightings and incidents happened out there. So it more or less sprouted out there, but people don't realize how many sightings and reports we have here alone. So, and people are slowly coming out the woodwork, learning, hey, there's the ECBRO. Oh, hey, wait, there's the North Carolina Squatch Watchers. They get familiar with all of us and who we are and what we do. And some of them get nerd to finally come out and open and want to share something with us, and, I just threw us out there as an example, but there's so many of us out there doing this, and they learn about us, and that's part of why I hold local seminars. And little by little, the public is slowly learning about who we are and what we do, and it's part of why I believe in spreading awareness, and that way people get comfortable with you, and they have somebody that won't mock them or make fun of them for what they've seen. So
Daniel,
and that's why we love doing what we do. So yeah.
If I could just ask the Squatch Watchers there, what's their opinion of Matt Moneymaker? Sorry to put you on the spot.
They just say this. They came, did a show with us. A show with us. That's all I'm gonna say. No comment.
So would I be correct in assuming that maybe I'm putting words in your mouth and I shouldn't, but would you say that his last name probably tells the whole story?
Well, are you
That's not his real last name.
No,
Well,
No, it's not. But
yeah.
Evan, are you a psychic? Because I was thinking the same thing when you
Okay,
said
and-
that. I mean, how do you trust a guy that nicknames himself Moneymaker?
And here's
Yeah.
where I do it. And here's where I see it too. What makes I know just because
What makes
just
him so
because they
special?
get a
Just say
show,
that.
what makes
Just say
them
that.
better than
Anybody else? Nothing.
He froze.
You know what? I think I really believe that Moneymaker is more about the whole spectrum of Bigfoot, whether it's natural, supernatural, whatever you want to call it, portals, paranormal. Because this Native Giants, to be honest, is going to be it's going to be the woo. It's going to be because you're going on Indian reservations. There's going to be a lot of a spiritual aspect to it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I think it's going to turn off some people and turn on others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it does. I mean,
There's
I
a-
hope it
there's
does.
A, there's a better show out there.
Yeah, wait.
There's a better show though.
Yeah.
That sounds good, but
Yeah.
there's a better show.
Yeah. Like here in the valley, all the way down to North Carolina, wherever. There
I like it.
You always heard Matt Moneymaker say they travel power lines, they travel different routes. Well, here in Central Valley, they migrate and travel the Appalachian Trail and the Blue Ridge Parkway, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that's one of the migration routes. Now, which way they go, I don't know, but 2019 is going to be very interesting, and I agree with what the Squatch Watcher said, because he said it, he summed it up everything I wanted to say. So that's what the way I see it.
Well, I can tell you one thing about regarding the BFRO and about how good a job they do. There was a local OHV park down here about 30 miles south of me, Williams Hill Pass, that they actually called in the BFRO, and apparently what the owner told me, the BFRO did a shitty job. They come in there, found a footprint in 3 days, and then they left, and they never would come back. And there's still reports in that area, and they overlooked a whole lot of stuff. The Bigfoot in that area are stalking people that's actually patrons there at the off-roading park out there. They've been seen stalking the campsites, the campgrounds, chasing people on ATVs, and that's where we come in. They called up the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters about it, and I just told them, and I said, well, won't BFRO return any of your calls? They said, no, they won't. And I said, well, I'll tell you the difference between BFRO and SIMH. We actually keep coming back till we get what we're after, and boy, they like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the reason I tell everybody, if you're going to be turning in reports, turn into somebody that's local and everything, somebody that's trustworthy, people that you ain't got to come all the way halfway across the country just to mount an investigation. Just call someone that just lives right up the road from you.
Yeah, because we got here in Virginia, the BFRO guy's name is Dwayne. I made a mistake and called him one time and gave him a description of one I saw out on the road. About 2 weeks later, I'm coming home from a turkey hunt, and who should I find? About 5 BFRO vehicles in my research area. I said, "What y'all doing?" "Oh, we're camping."
Yeah.
It wasn't a camp spot. I run them out of my area twice.
Yeah, like I get reports, and some of them they're out of my area, like or I just can't get to them. I know I won't have time for them. But for example, if I get a report down in Tracy's area or down in North Carolina, I'm going to send that. I'm going to gather the information and get what I can and send it to the Squatch Watchers or Tracy or whoever's working that area that I know and and trust. But so like that's the thing. If I get something in somebody's area, somebody, I got people that share reports from West Virginia, which I've been gathering because I do plan on doing an expedition in 2019 at some point, and I definitely want to organize something in North Carolina. There is an area in Tennessee that I've been gathering information from a good friend of mine that I went to school with. That later on we'll get more in details later. It's Taylor. I know I spoke with you about it briefly, but so
now.
But yeah, so
Go ahead.
huh?
I was just saying, who's the guy with the K?
Compared to the travel, about 83 a month. That's less than our current.
That's Kevin.
Right.
Okay, Kevin.
Yeah.
83 a month.
Kevin, what was your what am I looking for? Tate, what's the opinion on Matt Moneymaker?
My opinion on Matt Moneymaker. Well, not knowing much about the man,
because I got
I would
that's
just
60 into.
I'll try not to beat around the bush. I honestly believe that he. I'm getting some interference here. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
My opinion is that I think he's done more good for the field of research than he has bad. That being said, I think he started out with the sincere intention of, researching Bigfoot. But I think once Hollywood found him, or he found Hollywood, I think that kind of went partially out the window.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if that's to the point enough, but I think based on what I just said, I think his last name, as childish as it may sound, my saying that, I think his last name kind of speaks to where he is now.
Okay.
They're all like that.
Well, not all of them, but most.
Well, when you go to the Ohio Bigfoot conference, Meldrum won't. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so like Meldrum and Bergman, all of them, they won't come unless there's, they have to have a certain fee to come. So that's what they make their living on, and selling their books and their footprint casts and things like that. That's how they make their living. So they want you to keep coming. So, I mean, it's a multi-million, probably $1 billion industry now.
Well, in all fairness, I have an opinion on that. In all fairness, there's a lot of background noise there. Could somebody, whoever's got that, turn off their mic there? It's really overpowering in my head. In all fairness, the people that charge appearance fees or, are selling Bigfoot casts or writing books, selling, CDs with the audio sounds on them. You know what? I don't have a problem with that. I don't have any problem at all. I mean, I'll be the first to admit I'm a capitalist. Personally, I'm not in the Bigfoot field as little or as much as I am to make money. I'm in it because I have a keen interest in trying to figure out what it is. But for those that are in the field to make money off of this, I think you got to look at the bigger picture. Meldrum, Moneymaker, whoever else. I personally don't have a problem with them wanting to make money. I mean, they got to cover their expenses. They've got to cover their travel costs. And, if for the sake of argument, if Daniel, approached Meldrum or Meldrum approached Daniel and said, listen, I'll come to your conference, but I need, $3,000 for an appearance fee. I mean, they've got to either fly or drive out. They've got to pay for their accommodations, their meals, their gas in their vehicle. And I mean, let's face it, that's not cheap. Hotels are what, 150 a night, 150 a night.
Yeah.
You've got your airfare, that's not cheap either. I mean, for me to fly from Toronto out to Vancouver and back again, that's about $800 Canadian. And that's if you plan ahead by getting your airfare booked 2 or 3 weeks in advance. So I mean, $800 Canadian, that's about, $600 American to fly, from the middle of my country to the West Coast and back again. It's not cheap. So, Some of them are in this to make money. Like Todd Standing, but I did I let that slip out? Some
I don't
of them.
know what you're
Some of
talking
them.
about.
I think some of them are in this. Some of the researchers have brought a lot to the field of research, and others, I believe, have taken away from it. And the ones that are taking away from it are the hoaxers and the capitalists who are in this purely for the money and the sensationalism. Those are the people I don't have any respect for at all. The people that I do have respect for are, the ones that are, in this to definitively try and further the advancement of research. Like Bindernagel, Todd Preston, Bill Braun, people like that. Jevning, Mr. Jevning, who does his research up in the Adirondacks that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago.
ECBRO.
I forgot to put you on that list too. I mean,
I'm picking. I'm joking.
I know. That's just my 2 cents. Sorry if it was long-winded, but that's my opinion.
Tracy's got a good chance at catching one. Tracy Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree.
Oh, real quick, Sam. Earlier when we had the burping thing, it was funny. Tracy thought that was you earlier.
Yeah, I have to apologize for that. I'm sorry.
No.
I thought my microphone was muted.
Yeah.
I guzzled a huge glass of Coke.
I actually thought it was kind of funny. So I mean, I'm at first.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. No, I just guzzled a big glass of pop, so it came up in a rather quick, flurry. Todd, did you want me to, or Todd?
Better.
Sorry, Daniel. Sorry, that was not. I did not mean that. I'm sorry, Daniel. Did you want me to share that experience I had up in Canada here?
Sure.
No
Okay.
problem.
Now I'd like to get some of the other opinions of the panel members here. This happened. This is probably my first experience, and I'll start out by saying that I didn't see anything. I can only tell you what I heard.
Hey, could I interrupt you real quick?
Yep.
Would you have a problem with saving it for next Friday night? Because we are kind of getting short on time. I got to get. We've been on for 2 hours, so.
Well, how about I could tell you the experience in less than 5 minutes, if that's
all right. Tell you what, go ahead. Go ahead, do that.
Okay, so basically, my family had a cottage up in a place near Bon Echo Provincial Park, and it was a kind of like a co-op. You rented a cabin per season around a main lodge. They're nothing spectacular. We had one. I went up in probably mid-January, and the road to get in there is an old logging road, which has been turned into, a gravel road for cottagers. So it was well maintained, but in the winter, it's only plowed in as far as the first main children's camp. So I drove in that far in my Chevy Chevette. This is about 88, 89. And I was going to hike in the rest of the way, which was, I didn't realize, but another 10 kilometers in, which is probably about 6 miles. And I started walking in, had my backpack or my rucksack with me. I got picked up by this lady in a Suzuki Samurai 4x4. She took me to the camp. I told her what I was there for. And she said, if you're heading out the next day or any morning, she says, be out by the main road for your cottage, and she said you can hitch your ride back with me. So we'd had a massive snowstorm a couple of days before that, so the snow was very deep. When I arrived at the cottage and the main lodge, I went into the main lodge, turned on the power for our cabin, Went over to the cabin, opened it up. It was probably about minus 25 Celsius, which is very, very cold. Which would probably be about minus 10 or 15 Fahrenheit for you guys. But anyways, I turned on the stove. It was about supper time and it was getting dark. So I turned on the stove, all the burners, the oven, opened the door to get the cabin, nice and toasty warm. And, I did some reading and I went to bed about 11 o'clock or so. And I was in a deep sleep and I was woken up. I don't know what time it was, but it was not too long after I went to sleep, probably just after midnight. And I was woken up by this just blood-curdling howl scream. It's unlike nothing I'd ever heard before. And, I'd been up in the Bon Echo area for years before that with my family camping and never heard anything like that. And, it woke me right up. I mean, I was kind of half asleep, but when I heard that, I sat bolt upright in bed. So I sat there listening, and nothing happened again. Nothing happened. I laid back down. About 5 or 10 minutes later, maybe 15 minutes later, just as I'm starting to doze off, I heard another scream, the same, but right across the lake from where our cabin is. Again, same type of scream, but like a lot closer. And throughout the night, it happened about 10 or 12 times, about every 15 minutes, half an hour or so. It was kind of infrequent. And it seemed to be at different areas around where the cabin was. So the far end of the lake is about, half a mile. It's a long, thin piece of stretch of water, very small. And this went on all through the night. So, I was, I didn't get much sleep. So the next day I thought, you know what, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge. And I went back to the main lodge, turned off the power for the cottage. And I missed my ride. I heard her drive by while I was in the main lodge. So I thought, well, I'm going to have to walk out now. So as I was leaving the lodge and I looked over by our cabin, the snow was probably about waist deep. And I noticed a set of tracks coming from in front of the behind the lodge, and then almost even with the steps on our cabin, and then they went around the back of the cabin by my bedroom window. And the thing about them was that they were very far apart, and with the snow being so deep, you'd think that if it were a human or a person walking through the snow, they'd have to lift their leg right up and then put their foot from behind forward. You'd think there would be some sort of I call it a toe drag, where if you're lifting your foot up and you kind of pull it forward, you'd see some marks in the snow from where you pulled your foot across the snow, put it back down again in front of you. I didn't see any of that. I saw that and I wasn't really sure, what it was. I wasn't thinking Bigfoot at the time. But that was one of the things I noticed about it. And they were probably a good, I'm going to say 6 to 7 feet apart. But the odd thing about it was they were all in a straight line. There was no left or right. It seemed to be in a straight line all the way. And the tracks went through the snow and right up onto the road. I was too disturbed by what I'd heard the night before to stick around and, find out what it was. So I get on the main road and I'm walking back out. I think I'd made it maybe quarter of a mile, and I heard these trucks or vehicles coming up the road in front of me from, coming in from the main highway. And it was 3 green trucks, and they were Ministry of Natural Resources trucks. They had the logos on the side, the government logos, and the red lights on top. And they were loaded down with gear, and they had tarps and covering the gear in the back. And the lead guy got out, and he asked me. He said, what are you doing up here? And I had my .22 rifle with me. I don't know why I brought it with me, but I brought it with me. And he said, "Are you up here hunting?" I said, "No." I said, "I just brought this with me for protection." And he kind of laughed and said, "What, a .22?" So anyway, he said, so I told him why I was there. I didn't tell him what I'd seen or heard. And he said, well, wait here. So he went back and he's kind of powwowing with the guys in the other two trucks. And he came back and he asked me a little bit more intensely. He says, so what are you doing here? And I said, I told you, I come up to check on the cabin. He says, in the middle of winter? He said, is that your red car back out at the main children's camp parking lot there, which is all plowed out? And I said, yeah. He says, okay. He says, you see that gentleman there in the last truck? I said, yeah. He says, he's going to take you back out and, you know, make sure that you're, you know, on your way. And I said, no. I said, I think I'm pretty good. And he said, no, son, you're not listening to me. He says, you are going to go with that gentleman back out to the main road. And I says, well, do I have to? He says, at this point, he says, you don't have a choice. I said, okay. So I wasn't going to argue with the guy. And, you know, in hindsight, it was probably good because this, you know, was a good 10-mile walk, and I didn't feel like doing that in the weather. So anyway, on the way out, you know, as I'm walking to the truck, the guy that told me that I, you know, had no choice, he did come over as I'm getting in the truck, and he says, did you see anything up here, any kind of wildlife while you were here? And I said, what do you mean wildlife? He says, well, did you see anything out of the ordinary? And I go, what do you mean? I wasn't comprehending what he was getting at or talking about. And I said, no, not that I'm aware of. So he said, okay. So on the way back out in this truck, the other guy didn't say a word. I asked him a couple questions, you know, like what were they doing, you know, doing any kind of research. He was just dead quiet, no answer, no nothing. And the only thing he said to me when we got out to the main parking lot there was, I want to make sure that your car starts. The battery was dead, lo and behold. So he gave me a boost. I had some booster cables. He gave me a boost, and he waited till I got the car warmed up and I started to drive out. He was still sitting there, you know, watching me leave. So that was my experience up there. I don't know what it was that I heard. To this day, I've heard a couple of you know, Bigfoot screams and howls that were kind of close to what I had heard, but I know that I've heard coyotes, you know, howl and scream, and it's not a coyote. So, anyways, that's my experience. If anybody wants to comment, go right ahead.
The government vehicles definitely have. Yeah, that's wild.
Pretty crazy.
And the funny thing is that I got into law enforcement a couple of years later as an inspector with the SPCA, and I ended up working with some of these, not the same guys, but some of the Ministry of Natural Resources conservation officers and game wardens. And, you know, I'd had a limited interest in Bigfoot back then, and I asked a couple of them, you know, not if they'd seen Bigfoot, but, you know, without sharing my own experience, I just asked them if they had ever experienced anything odd or out of the ordinary. And there were a couple of them that told me that they, one of them had said he thought he'd seen a Bigfoot, and another one had said he wasn't sure what he saw or heard, but he said that he'd never heard or seen anything like it before. He didn't elaborate too much, but he said that he'd heard, you know, he'd been followed in the forest. He could hear whatever it was trampling through the woods. It seemed to have a heavy step to it. And ironically, both of these experiences happened in and around Bon Echo Provincial Park. So you guys can look that up on a map. There's been a lot of activity up in that area over the years that I've been able to ascertain.
I'll look that up. That's sweet. Yep. I'll look that up. That's sweet.
Good story.
The government shutting down that part, that's kind of like what that Joe Hunt guy was saying about that trail cam photo. It was like that land is no longer accessible or whatever. That's kind of what he was saying to us about where that trail cam photo came from. That's just crazy that you said that. That's why me and him kept looking at each other. It's
well, I don't think they shut the area down. It was just they were going up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Crown land in Ontario, which is the same as your state land. You know, like we call it Crown land because we're governed by the Queen. So anything that is not owned privately is considered government land or Crown land. And there is a lot of Crown land up in that area. I'm not familiar with specifically where there is on our road, but if you look up the lake that we were on, I believe it was Shabomeka, Shabomeka Lake, spelled SHA. Bomeka, Shabomeka Lake. It's either Shabomeka or Scutamata, one of those two lakes. I can't remember. But anyways, that's the lake where I had my experience on, which it's kind of to the south of Bon Echo Provincial Park, which borders Mazenau Lake, which is quite deep and quite long. And just as a point of interest, Mazenau Lake has a very long history of having Native Canadian Aboriginal occupation. The face of Bon Echo Rock, there's actually petroglyphs that the Native Indians had left hundreds of years ago when the lake level was a lot higher.
Very cool. Anyone else want to ask a question or throw anything on that before we end?
I wanted to say something real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Like earlier, Sam's already jumped off, but when I'm on here and I'm giving my opinion, I give my opinion because I know Fred. Fred and I have gone back and forth for over what, Fred, 5 years?
Or if not more.
More?
Yeah, but we love each other, you know.
People don't know our history. So I dog on him and he comes back at me and it's all good because I respect Fred and I know he's always out there. So he's like knows everything about any tree you can ever want to know about. He knows about the woods, he knows about a lot of stuff out there, you know? And I've learned a lot from him about that. But he knows me and from the very beginning he learned what kind of person I was and I was going to tell him what I thought. And from there it just kind of grew that I give him shit, you know, and he'll give it back to me. And
yeah, now I have seen. Yeah, now I have seen. She showed me a picture of her research area. She's got a beautiful area. The only problem was that particular area, people were trashing it. And if those squatches don't come in there, I don't see why. I mean, she's got rolling hills, she got pines, hardwood, beautiful area down there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to stop going there because it got infiltrated by homeless people.
Oh,
so
man.
They're gone. They're gone. I mean, structures are gone. Everything's gone. So, but anyway, and then I moved on with life, and now I'm taking care of my kids. So that's become my focus until later on I can get back out there. And now, I live in El Paso, so I'm more than 2.5, 3 hours away from any type of area that would even have anything. But there are. So eventually I can get back out there again and start doing stuff. But until then, I am in awe of what everybody does. And I watch all your videos because I live my interest through you guys, So that I appreciate,
There's a ranch out in Texas where they do a lot of coyote and deer hunting, and they set game cameras everywhere. Now, I've seen it on here once. I know who the club is. I can't think of the name of them, but in one of the videos, they will not tell you what it is. What they did, they have them sitting on poles in these little dry spots to watch the deer and everything about. They have one video of something brown, about 5 foot tall, kind of step in front of the camera, but you only see about from the right side the head of his left side. He kind of goes like this here, kind of steps in and steps back out. And that's in the flatland of Texas. And Maximus Deaconus, his guys are down in Texas, down there around where the oil wells are and everything. They're down in that area. They got squatches down there too.
I'm really surprised that Baltimore didn't get on.
Yeah, me too. I sent him the link. I don't know. Maybe he's busy for the holiday weekend.
Yeah. Could be.
So
Just trying to be good.
Hey,
Uh,
Daniel, I got a friend on here who's listening, watching, and he said this was so interesting that he paused. Excuse me, that she paused Star Wars.
oh wow.
Oh,
No.
mercy.
Well, she's joined the real force.
This is the soap opera, that continues till the next time, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
That's right.
Well, we've had a lot of viewers on tonight. We've had we've averaged around 21, but it was up to 29 viewers at a time earlier. So and a lot of people, there was a lot of interaction on the live chat, which was awesome. And I think a lot of people really found tonight's show very intriguing and entertaining at the same time. And there was a lot of people in the live chat also sharing their opinions on things too. So
yeah, the entertainment part would be me. Sorry about that.
burp.
Well, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of all of you, and I haven't got to say anything directly to Taylor and Tate, but I've been following you guys. I think from the moment you started, a lot of cool, interesting stuff. I really enjoy it, and thanks for having a YouTube channel, and your Instagram channel is great too. I'm big into social media. Really enjoy it. So.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. We appreciate that, and
Thanks for support.
yeah, thank you. And
Got the
we see your
poster.
comments and
Yeah.
stuff all the time. Yeah, it's cool. Thank you.
Very awesome.
Yeah, we like
And,
the stories you tell and stuff too. Like on your channel, I go and check it out a lot too. It's really cool. We all are unique in our own ways. It's really cool.
Yeah, we all have to put our own spin on it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. I love that you guys are doing. You have your research area, if you want to call it that, but then you kind of go off that research area and you go out and you actually go to people's houses or places where they live and or dwell, and in their communities, and you're checking stuff out there, and you're giving us kind of a different perspective. I like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very awesome. Yeah, I love the part. I love it when your stories, a lot of them originate right here out of Virginia, which I find very fascinating too. Because
I'm a little biased. I try to push the Virginia ones more than the other states. So I even have a few that are stacked up that I haven't gotten to yet.
It's very cool though. So, well, I want to thank everybody again for coming on tonight, and this has been really, really good. And today's Sunday night. Normally, I don't go live on Sunday nights, but it turned out to be a really great show, great discussion. Normally, we go live every Friday night. So be on the lookout for next Friday night on this YouTube channel at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central. Also, on Saturday nights, come on in and join Zach Sterick and me and whoever else wants to join in on the panel. It's a new episode. We just had our second episode of Geek Squatch on the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with that, go look that up and subscribe today. That way you'll get the notification. Just don't hit subscribe. Make sure you hit the little bell icon next to the word subscribe. That way you'll get the notification every time we go live. So it's an open panel discussion on various topics. We do touch on Bigfoot and other topics all around the world. So, and things could get a little bizarre at times. I know Nikki jumped on yesterday when we were in the middle of talking about wrestling, and it.
Don't be a hater.
And Nikki was like,
Hey,
"All right, goodbye."
I hate you while I play pool against you. That's why I hate you.
Hey, you cheat.
I do not cheat. I kick your
You
ass.
cheat. You use my balls to knock yours in.
Prejudice.
Oh Lord. Well,
Fred's sitting
I'll
there
be-
trying not to laugh.
I'm sure I'll be playing some pool here after I get off here in a little while myself. So,
Daniel, is that pocket pool or regular pool?
regular pool right on Facebook.
Well, Daniel, I've just got to say I appreciate you allowing me to be part of the panel. It's great to meet new people, to hear different opinions. We may not always agree with each other, but I think that just goes to show that there's a really big diversity in the field of research and in the whether you're a novice, an amateur, diehard fanatic. I mean, I think it brings a lot of different perspectives, and
Right.
I think that's necessary for a healthy discussion of
most definitely
of the topic. And secondly, I just want to wish everybody on the panel and everybody in the audience just a Merry Christmas. I'm single. I don't have any family. I'm not looking for sympathy, but I spend my Christmases alone or with friends. But for those of you that do have families, I don't want to sound all, wishy-washy, but cherish the time you have with your family, and if you've got kids, give them a hug and hold them close, because trust me, you don't know how lucky you are. You don't know how much you miss something until you don't have it anymore.
Absolutely.
Well said, very well.
Yeah, that means a lot. So, I mean, it's just me and my daughter here this Christmas holiday. So,
Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you all have a good holiday, and we will see you next time on the chat.
Thanks, buddy. You
too.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Kevin.
Merry Christmas, Kevin.
Sounds good.
Take care.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Zach, I don't know. You had something pulled up. Okay.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
one of his tutu. No, I'm gonna get off here. I just wanted to say, I start my my Yodi hunting first of the year, and like I said, I've been doing this for 39 years. Just watching everything, and every time I go out, I learn something new. But while I'm out this year Yodi hunting, I will be going to a lot of different areas and checking up and taking a lot of video and a lot of photographs of structures, and maybe I might get lucky and catch one running through the area. I'm not really sure. But keep watching for my video, for my Facebook Live when I come live in the woods. I'll be coming live with Yodi hunting and squatching all at the same time.
Very awesome. Very awesome. Awesome. Well, if you check out on Facebook, if you haven't checked it out already, the Southern Illinois Monster Hunters team. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a great night. And remember, see you guys. Come join us next Friday night right here on this YouTube channel, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be in touch. If you got questions, we love interaction. We love questions and trying to respond to them to the best of our ability. So if you got friends that might be interested in this YouTube channel and on our show, bring it on. Invite them to the channel. And we'll introduce ourselves, and you could they could see how crazy we are for themselves. So, all right, guys, you guys have a good night.